This is session number 17 of the Sales Mastermind podcast. Today in the hot seat, we have Jeffrey. Hit the music. Hello and welcome to the Sales Mastermind podcast. Get ready to harness the power of the Mastermind community and take your sales to the next level. I'm your host, Jonathan Stewart. Today's question comes from Jeffrey. He asked, what are the best places to find business-to-business sales leads? So this is a great question, and actually I'm going to refer to a blog post that I had written several months ago that answered this with 10 specific places where you can look to find business-to-business sales leads. I'm also going to add a couple to that list that I came up with after I wrote that blog post. And you know, this is very important. If you're going to be successful, you got to keep the pipeline full. You have to make sure that when you close a deal, there's always plenty of other deals behind that deal that you're working on so that you never hit a dry patch and run out of places to make sales. I have 12 places here that you can look to help you find business-to-business sales leads. These are some of the places I look and some of the places I find my sales leads. So the first source and one of the first places I would look to find business-to-business sales leads would be to go to various manufacturers' websites. So for instance, I'm in the lawn and garden industry currently, and so when I'm looking to find somebody selling lawn and garden products, I go to the big manufacturers' websites, and then I go to where is this product sold, or where is this product serviced, and then I find a list of the different lawn and garden stores, and then I can approach those people because I know they're selling their products. So manufacturers, a lot of manufacturers will list where you can buy their product, and so you want to target those that are in a similar industry as yourself and that are buying those products from the different manufacturers. A second source for finding business-to-business sales leads would be trade magazines. So when I say trade magazines, what you want to pay attention to would be maybe if they have some articles highlighting a specific business in that trade, or you might actually look at the people, the influencers writing for it. Sometimes they'll actually own businesses within that trade. You also want to look at the advertisements in the back. So a lot of times you'll see advertisements for different people selling products or businesses that are distributors within that particular trade. And so you want to pay attention to those and then reach out and make those part of your lead process. A third source of business-to-business sales leads would be to listen to podcasts and also to read blogs. And these would be specific to your industry. And what you'll find is similar to trade magazines, some of the people that come in and do interviews on the podcast or do guest blog posts will be people that could be potential targets for you. Also, the advertisers for these shows will commonly be in the same particular industry and will be related, and so you might be able to sell to these advertisers. Here's the fourth place to find business-to-business sales leads. Now, this is a little bit more obvious, but make sure you don't forget the internet and to search Google, Amazon, Yellow Pages, maybe even Angie's List, things like that, to find companies that are in your same industry and put this in your database. A fifth place to find business-to-business sales leads would just be simply by word of mouth. Pay attention to those around you. Ask those you know. Talk to them. Keep your ears and eyes open for constant people that you can reach out to. So you might even just ask people around you and your family and friends and who they use for a certain product or where they take their equipment to get fixed. The sixth place to find business-to-business sales leads would be referrals. So ask your existing customers to recommend other people or businesses that would be able to use your services. They'll know other people in the industry, and if you've taken good care of their clients, if they have a good relationship with another company, they're going to be happy to refer you to them. So where this works really well is, let's say that you are a service provider for a particular business industry and you've really taken good care of your customer. Well, they also may have some friends that could use your services as well, but if you don't ask, they may never recommend. But if you specifically ask, they can give you a list of people that could also use your services and maybe even contact those customers for you and give an introduction for you. Never, ever underestimate the power of referrals, especially if you're taking good care of your clients. The seventh place to find business-to-business sales leads would be social media. So I love the fact that we live in a very connected day and age where you can just simply go online to Facebook, or specifically I think LinkedIn would be really key here, possibly even Twitter, and you can go and find a lot of business leads. Also, I love LinkedIn because let's say that you're trying to target a larger company and you don't know really who to target within that company. Who are the buyers? Who are the gatekeepers? Who do I need to talk to before I can get to those people? And a lot of times on social media or LinkedIn, you can find these people. You can find out what their position is in the company, and you can contact them through LinkedIn. And most of the time, they'll respond to you as long as you're not spammy. And so that's a good way to connect to people and to get to maybe some decision makers within the company and to add these people to your list. So don't underestimate LinkedIn and Facebook. The eighth place to find business-to-business sales leads would be the news. So this kind of sounds strange, but you might find that there was a big merger if you look at the business news, or there is some business that's in transition, or business that just went public, or some news story about a particular company. Whatever that be, pay attention to the news, because anytime a company is in transition, whether it be a merger, a buyout, going public, expansion, whatever it might be, those times of transition are when they are more likely to change their service or to change a vendor or to add a new product to their mix. And so that's a good time to find this lead and to know exactly when to approach them. There'll be a lot better chance of getting them to buy your product or take on your service. So look at the news of the day. Also, you want to make sure that you go to events. The ninth place to find business-to-business sales leads would be physical events like trade shows or seminars or similar events like that. Make sure that when you go to these, you actually go out of your way to connect with people genuinely. Don't just hand out cards and take cards and not actually physically and emotionally connect with people, but you want to actually make genuine friends with people, connect with people in a classy way that makes a good impression. That way later on, if you do end up calling them, they actually know who you are, and maybe you know somebody that knows them, and so you can have an introduction from a friend. Anything you can do to actually build a real relationship, but events can be a great place to connect with companies and decision makers and to build leads. The 10th place I would recommend you look for business-to-business sales leads would be in your volunteering. So first of all, if you give your time to support your favorite charity, you're making a positive difference, and I believe you reap what you sow, as the Bible says. But you're also going to be meeting people that you may not have met previously. You're going to be in a working relationship with them. You're going to really get to know them well and create a really good friendship. And later on, that friendship and that connection will be useful for you. Now, make sure that you do this ethically and with a good heart. You're not doing this specifically only for leads, but you're doing it as the side benefit of you'll get some leads from it. The 11th place to find business-to-business sales leads would be go down to your local Chamber of Commerce and attend the Chamber of Commerce events as much as possible. So this can be a literal gold mine because they have a database of all the businesses in that particular metro area. And so if you can connect with the Chamber of Commerce and get to know the people that run the Chamber of Commerce and go to the events, etc., you'll have a connection to pretty much all the businesses in the area. Now here's an expert tip within this tip. If you can actually volunteer to work there or become a member of the Chamber of Commerce board, that would be huge. You would have a big inside advantage, and you would have more business leads, I believe, than you could know what to do with. The 12th and final place that I recommend to look for business-to-business sales leads is a website called data.com. So if you go to data.com, it's a website that was purchased by Salesforce.com, of course, the great customer relationship management CRM tool. If you go to data.com, basically what it is it's kind of like a sharing site for contacts and leads. So let's say that you have a company and you're trying to find somebody within that company. So let's just say Facebook. Let's say that you wanted to find somebody within Facebook. So you would go to data.com, you type in Facebook, and then it would show a list by position of the company, how many leads they have in that list. Now, how you are able to see their contact information is you also share the contact information for people in your network, and by doing that, you get points that allow you to use those points to get connections to people in other networks. So it's a really cool place if you have a specific company that you're trying to reach out to and you're really trying to find somebody in there that you can connect with, a decision maker. Then you just go to data.com, type in that business, find a person in there, and connect with them. I've actually connected to several big businesses this way, and it's been very effective, and I was able to meet with them personally and get into a company quicker than I could ever imagine. And so this is huge. Data.com, I found it to be a huge source for leads, and not only leads, but actually the connections within a company. Now, I just want to mention to you that once you've saturated your current market, once you are the sales leader and you have 80% of the market or something like that, you've just done an incredible job. What I would recommend you do is don't be afraid to venture outside of your target market and to be a little creative out of the box. So you might find that your product that you think is only one single use might be useful in other particular industries. So this is the best example that I have of this. I was at a sales meeting where there were other companies that were also selling products like us. Well, I was talking to some of the salespeople that live in Texas where they also don't get a lot of snow, and he was telling me how they found a creative way to sell snow blowers. And so they had contacted people within the poultry industry, places that had a lot of chicken houses, and they found that you could actually use a snow blower to blow out and clean out all the bedding and the poop and stuff from a chicken house. And so these big, long commercial chicken houses were using snow blowers. And so these salespeople from this company, they were selling lots and lots and lots of these snow blowers to these companies because they thought outside the box, and they were able to set some records for selling these things. And so think about it for a minute. Maybe there's a way to sell your product or use your product outside of what you normally think. And if you saturated your market and you're looking for the next thing, maybe it's just a different look on your product. Just think outside the box, approach people, talk to people, keep your ears and eyes open, and hey, you might just find another way to use your snowblower figuratively. So I hope these tips are helpful for you. Use these if you can and look into some of these sources, and I hope that your pipeline keeps full and that you can get a lot of sales leads from this. Now, I do want to mention to the Sales Purpose community that I am looking for in the near future. I'm going to be not only answering people's questions, but I want to do some interviews with not only people that have had success stories with what they've used here on this particular podcast or on the Sales Purpose blog, but I also want to interview if you are an author or if you are a fellow podcaster or a fellow blogger in the sales and marketing industry. I would love to bring you here on the podcast and interview you and talk to you and get your message out to the world, and also provide you. I'm sure you have plenty of value you could provide to the Sales Purpose community. So if you are interested in that, just simply email me at Jonathan, the letter S, at salespurpose.com. That's Jonathan S at salespurpose.com. And you can email me there and just give me a short introduction of who you are, what you do, and how you might be able to help the Sales Purpose audience. And I will reach back out to you, and hopefully we can set up a time to do an interview that we could put on a future podcast. Also, want to always mention that this is the official podcast of the Sales Mastermind community on Facebook. We would love to have you join the conversation. If you just simply go to salespurpose.com/community, you can request to join that private Facebook group and join in our conversation. Also, if you would like your question answered here on the Sales Purpose podcast, you can either email me at jonathans@salespurpose.com or just go over to salespurpose.com/SM podcast, and you'll see a couple other ways that you can ask your question and get it featured here on the Mastermind podcast. Also, lastly, want to mention that I have a free course called The 7 Secrets of Sales Success, a free email course that you can enroll in if you just go to salespurpose.com/academy. Again, this is free, and it's a great resource for you. 7 of my best sales tips that can increase your sales and increase your commissions. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I really look forward to talking to you guys in next week's episode, and have a good one. Thank you for listening to the Sales Mastermind podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes below for any resources or sites mentioned in the podcast. Also, be sure to subscribe and join the Facebook community to continue the conversation. Here's to your success.